Okay, good afternoon, everybody. It is September 30th, 2025. It is 4:37 p.m. and we're starting bargaining between LCES and LCEA. And this beautiful Tuesday.
Starting at the slightly cooler, ready.
I think everybody is. And blessed that we didn't have to deal with a hurricane, so.
That's what it is. Definitely that.
All right. I received your agenda. And I will let you begin and then I'll go through it. I have some questions and
Same, we do have Val Smith here, instead of Angela.
Okay.
She's our replacement at the moment. She's been here before. She's not necessarily new.
No, I'm welcome, Bob.
I did speak with Jessica about the minutes, so we're still working on getting some of those minutes. I understand. And you will see, some color coding when we do our proposals.
Okay.
I'm sure Angela has a better way to do things, but we've kind of added some colors, but there is a key.
Okay.
So who knows, at least it's fun to look. And I think that's all we have. Any other logistical pieces or anything from our side? Okay.
No, we'll pass the signing sheet.
Okay, that's what. Okay.
All right, you put on agenda item number 2, LCS proposals and counter proposals. I had a question because on agenda item number 4, it says appendix B.
Yes.
It's appendix B, your proposal that you had from last year, is that something totally different?
That is different. We haven't proposed that language yet.
Okay,
What
so-
we proposed last session was just the performance base.
Okay,
Part of the minutes fee. I think they're all part of the minutes fee, but
all right, that's why
Yeah.
I needed to get that
this
clarification.
is the placement schedule piece.
Okay, so then I'm gonna discuss what, you want me to go first, then I'm assuming regarding that. I don't have a counter for that. What I do have is what, I did meet with the board and with, Ms. Corning, your superintendent, regarding, your proposal.
Right.
And we have, a compliance, we have to be in compliance with the state and regarding salary, the TSI salary increase pursuant to section 1011.62 Florida statutes. We have to have a plan in place by tomorrow. So at this time, we're not ready to counter that proposal for performance pay. What we would like is an MOU that guarantees that money that we have for TSIA to go to performance pay. That's all we're saying, but let me pass the MOU so you can read it. Oh, and I'll read it out loud because I don't have copies for everybody, it's just an MOU. Okay. The first paragraph is the same paragraph we have in all the other MOUs, so I'm not gonna just read that one, I'm gonna read the second. This MOU relates to the salary distribution of funds attributed to the teacher salary increase allocation for 25-26 school year, as established by Florida statutes and the Florida Department of Education. This MOU is basically the LCS district and LCA have reached the following agreement regarding the salary distribution of TSIA funds, and is subject to further review for accuracy, revisions, and ultimately ratification and board approval as set forth within. Then it talks about the first bullet, the portion amount allocated to the LCS district by Florida DOE, less the family empowerment scholarship allocation, less the charter school allocation for teacher salary increase will be used to address teacher salary increases for the 25-26 school year. That amount is $1,147,765. That includes the fringe rate cost. If I were to split that for performance pay, those are the amounts that are annual highly effective 400, annual effective 300, PSC grandfather highly effective 320, professional service grandfather effective 300. I am not saying that that's what we're proposing as performance pay to what you proposed. I'm just saying this is just an agreement that that money is part of whatever compensation we can provide once we have FTE and we know better our budget situation. So with that said, all we're sending to the state that we're gonna use the dollars to increase teacher pay. We also put a second bullet that says the district school board has contributed $2,943,148 to address the instructional employee increase of health benefit costs for this year. Last year, I'm not gonna give you a rounded number. It went from 10,500 costs per student per teacher for health to 11,500 and change. So that excess, that increase in health, we covered by adding that amount. And then the last two bullets basically state what I just said. The agreement regarding the distribution of funds attributed to TSI for the 25-26 school year shall not prevent the parties from mentioning other issues concerning or other sources supporting the wages, salaries, or benefits under the collective bargaining agreement. By that, I mean, we're gonna move forward with, once we know FTE, survey week, survey 2, and we come out of it, we will have a better idea where our budget is going to look moving forward. So the last bullet is just, this agreement is only pertaining to the contract year, not teachers working summer school, basically. It's just for the contracted full-time year. And obviously, if the last bullet on the back talks about if the intention of both parties to adhere to current statute and directives of the Florida DOE regarding the distribution of PSI funds. If DOE finds it non-compliance, then we agree to come back and address whatever they find that it's not correct. And it is the board's and decision and wish, along with the superintendent, that we need to submit a plan tomorrow to DOE with what we're doing with the fund. We're not using the fund. We're not saying that we're gonna use the fund to cover just health. We're saying we're gonna use those funds specifically to salary increase. But we're not ready at this time to counter on that proposal that you provided us about bargaining for pay for performance.
Okay, so just to ask a couple questions for clarification. So this would be what we would submit to DOE for the October 1st deadline.
Correct.
And if we sign this, that does not mean that that's the only money that's gonna go towards performance.
Right, as long as the board agrees that we have money that we can give, yes, I cannot guarantee what FT is gonna look.
So we
Yes.
could theoretically sign this and there could be no more money. That could be the.
But they could also be in money. It could be both. I
There's
just
no
can't,
guarantee.
I cannot guarantee that. Now,
And
if you
then
wanna
what is
see the
the-
memo from the state, I can pass it along. This is the copy from the state. We are reminding districts that we need to have a plan in
Right,
place.
yes, we're aware. That
Okay, but that's the statute, that it talks about what. And we're trying to be in compliance with the state. We're not saying that this is all we're gonna pay for performance. What we're asking is for us to be in agreement that, yes, we're gonna use it to increase salaries. And anything further that we're gonna add to this will be discussed after FTE, after we have
And when
survey.
would that be?
We have survey week is the second week of October. After that, there comes the recalculations of budget, so I will have to get with Mr. Ward to see when he feels comfortable. Meet with the board again and see where we are.
After October 10th?
And
October 10th is the last day.
last day, so therefore we submit on that day. So if you are asking me a date, I would feel more comfortable by the end of October, so that I can sit down and analyze what we submitted to DOE, because they're gonna take that file and then we have amendments. So. But I would need an answer on this.
Can you just clarify in the first bullet?
Yeah,
Is it the district's understanding that the scholarships, the family empowerment scholarships get carved out of a portion?
it is,
CSIA?
it is. We've, Mr. Ward has been in communication with Florida Department of Education regarding that. And it is, I may have some language on statute, if you give me a
They've sent you to clarify.
not exactly in those words, but the statute, the way the statute reads, they carve that out. I'm looking for that email that has some of that language.
I was aware that, charter schools receive portions of TSMA. I was not aware that vouchers that those parents who homeschool their kids receive.
Oh, no, maybe I misunderstood what you were asking. I apologize. When I talk about, when I put in the second bullet, less the. You're asking about
The FES portion, why is there?
Portion of the
less
amount.
the family empowerment scholarship, because part of scholarship funding and payment, which is 1002.394. Well. The calculated scholarship amount for a participating student determinable pursuant to paragraph 3A should be used upon the grade level school district in which a student was assigned to as 100% of the funds per unweighted full-time equivalent. Florida from the FEFP for a student in the basic program established pursuant to all the other statutes. Then it says plus a per full-time equivalent share of funds for the categorical programs established. So. So based on that language, that's why they take that money. That's what I was provided.
I think there's some debate, some other districts receiving like. Clarification from the DOE that should not be broken out for family.
We have a different clarification on that, so.
That's a concern.
So I think my group would like to caucus, if we could take 20 minutes to review this, and that way. we
Yeah,
can come
yeah,
out
yeah.
with Any remaining questions?
And again, I'm gonna repeat it, the intent is for us to have a plan with the state. The money is an approximate amount, it might be a little bit more, it might be a little bit less, that we calculated based on. Based on the file we had at the time of calculation in September. So. It's basically the BSA increase of 0.7%. Is the TSIA. So. We calculated what 0.7%, which was the base student allocation increase in our district. It comes out to that amount if I take away charters, everything else.
What was the percent you said?
The BSA increase on our district was 0.7%. You know how previous years we've given whatever increase they've given us, we provided as performance pay. This year, they didn't provide us 3%, they provided us only 0.7.
Right, y'all have anything else before we caucus? Can we do a 20-minute caucus?
Yeah.
So that
Do it.
is at like 5:11.
I'm gonna make a call too regarding your statement.
And just if you can ask for a little bit further clarification, but I mean, every table I've sat at in the last 2 months, I've not once had anybody reference pulling in a salary for the teacher salary.
Okay, I'll go ahead and ask that question. Okay, it is 4:51, we're caucusing for
Sarah?
20 minutes.
We know they're caucusing. I'm not. Thank you, Sarah. And y'all feel free.
It is 5:17, we're returning back from caucus.
Okay, thank you all for that time. We had as robust a discussion as we could have in 20 minutes. There are lots of questions and things that came up, and so. We feel like we definitely need some clarity about the family empowerment scholarship portion that was pulled out. So did you get some
I
clarification?
called Mr. Ward told me they take the money. That is a fight that he's been having with Florida Department of Education. And basically the statute, I can forward you the email that he forwarded me with the statute language, but they do take the money. They do take that portion, so.
Patrick, do you have something that?
I mean, I just, well, I guess with Scott, just a question, because in one of his emails that he sent, he said previous years, they break out the charter school, which obviously we agree with that. But previously, we, the district, retained the FES portion because we were offered more than the TSIA. This year will not include the FES portion in our TSI calculations. So previously Scott was.
So he
was
found out that
breaking
they,
it out,
correct, they do take it.
but now he is breaking it
Yeah.
out. And then,
And is there anything that changed that caused the practice to be different?
That would be, that I would need him to be able to answer that question. I gave him a call and I specifically asked him what statute. He sent me the email with the statutes and I can forward them, but those are the same ones I'm gonna to you. And that is the issue he's been dealing with Florida DOE because he sees it on the file. He sees the money, how they take out the money, and they are taking that portion out. So,
So, so the reference is just back to statute?
Back to
no-
statute.
No guiding.
I don't have any other
Documentation.
guidance other than statute.
So, what we do have is, an FAQ related to the salary increase allocation for the current year and, this has been brought to the table everywhere else. I've been talking about the, TSI for this year. The frequently asked question specifies that in the 25-26 fiscal year, growth allocations may not be used to increase minimum base salary for teachers with less than 2 years of full-time teaching experience in a Florida public school. And so how does the plan that you're proposing address the number of years of experience in Florida public schools for people who are
We
receiving?
are above the minimum teacher salary. We are at 49,500. So we put everything on salary increase, not increasing the minimum.
but like, so,
So we don't,
but I think it's.
I will have to find out more information as part of the 2-year
Yeah.
portion.
The other districts that I've been in the last week are above 50 to start.
Mhm.
And they all cited that the new TSIA growth money has to be applied to teachers with 2 years or more in Florida public schools.
Okay.
So I just think that there are enough questions that we have concerns about the MOU.
I just need it on record that you're rejecting to sign it. That's all I need, or signing it. Because that's what we're sending to Tallahassee.
So can you clarify, you're gonna send to Tallahassee?
We're gonna inform them that we have an agreement what to do with the 0.7% increase, which is applied to salary increases. And I need to know whether you're in agreement with it or not. We need to have a plan in place.
Which we agree, and we brought up that this deadline was coming well in advance of today, so.
I-
I'm a little confused at why all of a sudden there's this urgency on the district side when we've been bringing this up for several bargaining sessions. And
We tried to get it. When we analyze budget, we're trying to make sure to see what we can do. Look at enrollment, look at all, we were trying to see if we can provide more than that. At this time, we can't, so therefore we want to guarantee that that money is going to go to increase salaries. So that's all the MOUs basically said. We're going to use that portion for salary
But
increases.
if it, but then that's gonna be different if it's not, if it's only supposed to be teachers with 2 years or more experience.
And if we get clarification and they're right about that, if that's not supposed to be taken out, that would actually make more money, that should increase the amount.
I'm confused if the district really wanted to move on this, like, why wouldn't Scott Ward be here or your lawyer?
There is no, all we're doing is using that money to increase teacher salary. If you want me to modify that MOU, I can take the table out and just say that we're gonna put the $1.147 million into teacher increase and remove the table and we'll determine those amounts later.
But it still boils down to, you're only putting the 1.147, but what happens if, what we're saying is right, and the FES is not supposed to be taken out? That amount would be
I
wrong.
got confirmation that it's being taken out, so.
When do you need to submit the plan to DOE?
Tomorrow.
So is it something that we could find out clarification and address tomorrow? Or are you expecting us like right now, today, sign off?
I need an answer today. I will, because I'm calling the superintendent after this meeting.
But it's an MOU for tomorrow, and traditionally MOUs we just assign. Technically, it could be signed tomorrow and still go into effect.
That's fine. I'm just letting you know my instructions. All we wanna do is, all the board is trying to do is get a plan in place with DOE. That we're meeting the deadline and that we are using those funds for salary increases, period.
And to clarify, the language says that the MOU goes into effect upon ratification. You're not asking for a separate ratification. You're not asking to bifurcate and ratify this separate.
No, we're gonna send the plan, we're gonna put that MOU in the next board meeting for them just to have it board approved. But it's not, we're sending the official agreement to the state that we agreed on it.
So, and because not everybody understands MOUs and
Correct.
implementation. So signing this agreement from the board allows you to report to the state. But the raises that are spelled out here would not go into effect until a full ratification is completed anyway.
Correct,
Gotcha.
correct.
Okay, just want to make sure that everybody.
Yes, correct. The board made it very clear to me and the superintendent made it clear that our intent is to come back with a counter proposal to the performance pay once after FT survey 2. This is just to send them a plan that we are guaranteeing that money for TSIA allotted to our district will be used for performance pay. That's all. We're saying that we're using that portion to increase salaries, and we broke it down so that you can understand what that implies based on past practice, what we've done with that money. The other money that we put in here is money that the board already put to cover health increase costs per employee. So we understand, we value every teacher. It's just, this is just a plan that we gotta submit to the state, and you have the letter that stipulates what they're wanting for us to have.
Well, there have been also some other districts that have submitted other plans that don't look like this, so and we're in a whole book session where we have a lot of things that we're working on. And as I mentioned earlier, we've been asking about this plan for several bargaining sessions. So I'm a little uncomfortable with suddenly being rushed to make a decision in 2 hours, when I don't even have time to hold my bargaining unit. You're asking me to make a decision about their salary increases without even getting their input. Typically, when we get anything that has to do with money, we're not making decisions, the 20 of us, for the 3,000 educators in our bargaining.
Well, I'm not, just to correct something, I'm not saying that this is their final salary increase. I'm just saying we're
Right,
using
but you
that.
can't guarantee either way. So that's the concern. And I know there are other districts that are in whole book. There's a strong enough case that we could just say that we haven't reached an agreement yet because we are in whole book. And because the DOE has waited, they still haven't released Cal 4. So, I mean, really,
So
the rush to do this seems. It doesn't seem appropriate.
I understand your point. I'm not gonna argue with you. All I would simply state, all the board and the superintendent wanted to state is, let us submit a plan that we're gonna use that money for salary increases. If you do not agree because you have questions, I understand. I'll relay that message to the board and the superintendent.
Yeah, I think that's where we are. Can you just clarify for us, what is, the anticipated outcome of not having a signed MOU for the report tomorrow?
Don't know. It's up to DOE. They'll decide after that. All I know is,
It'll provide a status report as opposed to a signed document.
correct, we're gonna provide a status report and we're at their mercy at that point, because it's the superintendent and the chair would have to answer to that. Not, I mean, that's what it states on the letter.
Gotcha.
And what has happened to any other district that has done that?
I don't speak for the districts. I don't know.
Wow,
I haven't worked with any districts that have had issues.
Most districts that I've
I know
spoken
it's
to,
a little different because it's a month.
most districts that I've spoken to have MOUs that they just stipulate the money will be used for salary increases. And I've looked at several MOUs because I needed to have something in place just in case. And that's what they do. They put the money towards salary increases. That's not a Lake County language. That's me taking language from many other MOUs that state the same exact language. And all we're saying is we want to use those funds, meet a deadline with the state and still continue bargaining towards performance pay.
If it wouldn't be reasonable to share a plan that has identified dates for upcoming bargaining, knowing that you are full book, that there is an FTE window with final counts that will help us make better decisions, that providing that plan for continuing negotiations in good faith would satisfy the state's need for a report.
I will not be able to answer that. I don't know if there's a plan. I don't know of any plans. Some of the counties that I've spoken to their lead negotiators, some of them have ratified already. They've actually come to an agreement, but all the ones that I've known that have ratified, they have referendums, they have other monies that come to them. We do not have we don't have that extra money. Orange County has a fund balance of X amount of dollars. They have a tourism. So they get other dollars that we do not receive. So it's hard for me to compare to another district when we don't have the same dollars coming in
For sure.
for revenue. So the only revenue we have is the 0.7% that they increased. So we are in a tight spot. It's not that we,
And
So,
you're not alone, by the way.
oh, I know.
Two of the districts that I work with right now are sitting at the.
Yes, I'm one that at least we have it. We at least have the 0.7, we covered the deficit at the end of last year, which was almost $8 million that hit the fund balance. So we were able to cover a deficit at the end of last year. So there's some districts that are in worse shape than we are.
so I do wanna say that, because obviously there's a lot of voices in the room, there's a lot of perspectives and a range even in this space today, right? And I do wanna make sure that I bring some of those voices to light. We are appreciative of the board taking a look at this closer. You're happy to see some movement. Because we were hearing from, the budget presentations and all the gloom and doom that there may not even be a salary of any. So we're happy to see some movement in that aspect. But obviously you can tell that there are some concerns about this. I think right now we're having some talk happening now about some of the conversations and the proposals that we're talking about here collectively. I think what Val mentioned, and your combination of maybe taking off the table, maybe coming up with a plan with a timeline. And if we need to work collaboratively to help you do a plan for the DOE, we're more than willing to do that. Or even a scenario that maybe takes on the amount, I don't know, but I think. Obviously, we want to pay our teachers, just as the district does. We want to make sure that they see funds, and we appreciate that the district is stating that they have a commitment to give those funds in some sort of performance salary increase. But the concern is, there's no guarantee of more, right? And we have lots of questions still about this piece, and as I mentioned before, I feel uncomfortable making a decision about people's year-long salary increase when I don't have even 24 hours to get their take on this language.
So let me ask you something. So you're saying take off the table?
I think we need to have some more discussions about what to do, like taking off the table, like maybe proposing a timeline that Val mentioned.
But I wanna, just to get clear, if I take off this table, would you still consider
I
approving?
think it's better. We're moving in the right direction.
So how about something like, I don't know exactly how to word this. I mean, even with the thing about the FPS, something like the TSI amount minus statutorily required deductions or something.
That language I specifically, finance was the one that provided me that guidance, because they see the numbers. So I'm not at liberty that I will change that language, because Mr. Ward is the one that sees how much money they take away. I understand the table.
Can we involve him in this?
I understand the table being removed, Because it gives you the perception that that's all we're doing, but it doesn't change the amount is still 1,100,000, and that's an estimated based on the based on the current contracts we have in the. So. If the table is the issue, I can remove the table.
I mean, it's more than the table.
Then I just need your official answer. You don't feel comfortable signing it and we can move forward.
We're gonna table this for right now, because we're not
Okay,
ready to.
that's fine.
respond.
I can, towards the end, I can caucus again and I'll try making another call and get more clarity on that, but that's, I mean, that's what I can do.
All right, then we will move on with our counter proposals. So we have two counter proposals. We have Article 4, association rights. That's gonna come around now. 41. Oh, did you have anything else?
Matters.
And no, I'm not, like I said earlier, I'm not ready to counter that compensation that you proposed because we wanna,
Or 10.
so,
10 or 11?
no, not ready. I was going to bring leaves, but then I saw your agenda and I said I better hold because I need to let you.
We have
Yeah.
comparable language. For you.
Yeah.
Yes, for all for districts that can touch us or are of the same size. Approximate same size.
It was under district. What is it? Has it gotten around everybody?
Article.
So you'll see our color coding key. We're doing the green for agreed. Blue is changed or added, and red is do not agree or removed. So we added the red. If it's too confusing, let us know and clarify. But
So I have a question.
Yeah.
I was using blue before, so now you're saying that blue is you changing something that I proposed before?
yes,
Okay,
yes.
I want to be clear. Okay.
And green, we did add what we agreed to based off the counter that you gave. So you'll see that there is language that we've agreed to since then.
Okay, perfect.
So basically page 1, I think, was stuff that we've already agreed to, so I'm gonna move past that. Page 2 is the new language to discuss. So we have section 4 an email. We talked about this couple sessions. There was language here that was added back and that we've struck, that is in red. And then we've added the new language at the bottom that says no material shall be sent through the district email, which violates federal and state local laws. And I'm gonna go ahead and move on to courier too, because they're very similar. So section 5 courier system. We've again agreed to the worksite language. We removed the language that was added back by the district and crossed it out in red and then added in blue at the bottom. Again, no material shall be sent through the district. Which I guess I shouldn't say email, so I just realized there's a typo there. Through the district courier system is what it should say. Which violates federal, state, and local law. So I want to speak to the intent of this language. So we are trying to show that we believe that what is sent through the district should be appropriate, should match federal, state, and local laws, and we believe that that language would be beneficial there and would be better than the current language, which is why we struck that current language. We did give you, Mr. Zamora, a list of all the other districts that have similar language that either touch us or are similar in size. So sorry, now. It's okay. You'll see there's Volusia there that talks about the communication through the email system, Sumter County, Osceola, Seminole, Polk, Leon, Escambia, Orange, Marion, I think are the ones that you have in front of you, the exact contract language. So again, I want to point out that retirement emails, college, university emails, etc., is actually being sent through district email by the district, not just through outside organizations. Last time we talked about this, Miami-Dade was used as a comparable, and I'm really not sure why, because we are not the same size as Miami, we don't touch Miami. And everything else about Miami is not even close to Lake County schools, which is why we provided the sample language that actually close to us or touches us. And, you know, to micromanage and treat instructional staff as if they cannot make their own decisions about what they choose to read or not, does not seem appropriate to us. If we are a true collaborative partner, which is what's said publicly about us, then we need to be treated as a partner. You know, people say that they get too much in their personal email, they don't even look at it. And a lot of the communication that we send out is to help morale and help the district as a whole. We are partners in this. We want the same things. We are a professional organization made up of professionals. We are the same people that you trust to send emails to parents, to students, to communicate to the community partners. If we're trusted with those folks, with our parents, with our students, with our community, then why aren't we trusted to communicate with our colleagues? We are not going to send out things that are unprofessional, and if we do, there's already a process to handle that and address that. So this is more about trust and true collaboration, and accepting these items is showing good faith on behalf of the district to work with our instructional bargaining unit. So whatever we need to do, we want to work with the district to try to get this language. So if that requires more conversations of collaborating in a smaller group or whatever we need to do, but we believe strongly in this language and moving forward with some version of this language. All right, section 6, conduct, we already agreed to that. Section 7, personnel files. So you'll see a lot of that language is green there that we agreed to, with 2 sections that we want to point out. So we've added at the bottom of number 2 there, no such materials relating to work performance, discipline, suspension, or dismissal may be placed in a personnel file unless they have been reduced in writing within 45 days, exclusive of the summer vacation period of the school system administration, becoming aware of the facts related in the materials. And it relates to the Florida statute there, which I'm looking at my talking notes here and I don't have anything about that. Do you recall?
I added that language.
So you added that. So then
That's the language from the
It
statute.
was the 45 days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what, it's right from the statute. So my question is, do you agree or not?
So we should have made that green. We should have turned us in there.
Okay.
All right, so it looked like that was
You can
an
review-
error.
Yeah, you can review it, it's fine.
We'll double check.
I had the note in my file that says that I added that. You can.
Okay,
review
so that
it.
we'll
We
have
can-
to look at
Yeah,
that.
you can look at it.
Yeah. Okay, we made a correction with the pronouns his or her, you'll see that in red there. And then it also looks like there's an A in front of copy, so I don't know if that was there
It's,
before.
or,
It was there before, so that should be green.
And we added the. Yeah, we added the.
oh, I missed,
Yeah.
I mistake, yeah, that was the old language, I forgot to take it out.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay.
So you agree to that language?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Page 4. we agreed to this language. Including in C there, because there was language there that you added. So we're going to page 4, page 5. It looks like there's also an error here for section 9 class count.
Yeah.
The caseload crossed out should be in green.
Okay. It should be green.
And the or assigned caseloads that's crossed out should also be green. So we agree to that language. And we believe that class size caseload should really be reviewed and addressed at the work site. As we've had several conversations about this, we learned that there's no district process for this, but it seems that there is the ability to have these conversations at the work site level. So we've added the language that class size and caseload numbers will be reviewed at the work site through the joint leadership committee, see Article 11, Section 1G. So this refers to the language in Article 11.
Okay.
Section 10, nothing there. 11. We have agreed to, so you'll see it's green there. Section 13, we have agreed to most of that language with a slight change. So we've added at the bottom, except in the course of a fact finding conducted under the grievance process, see Article 9, Section 8C2. So we agree with this language with the addition of that section in the blue, because we want to make sure that the new language meets the already agreed upon language
Or green.
for the grievance process.
Makes sense.
And there should be a period at the end there.
Yes, that's all that.
And then section 14. We have some language that we've agreed to here and some adjustments. So the adjustments are in blue and red. So it should, you should see the blue added here. The association representative shall be given an opportunity at the conclusion of each faculty meeting prior to dismissal to present brief announcements. The principal/director will receive prior notification. You'll also see we added the word release after student in the next section there, and then cross out the non-contract time following that article language. And then added in blue, association announcements may use the building communication systems before or after the normal class schedule. The principal director will see prior notification, and then agreed upon the end language, the last sentence there, with the word monthly added. So I'll kind of talk through these. So the first section there, first paragraph there, this is something, again, when we were doing research, and I think it's on the comparable language that we gave you, it's not, okay. So we may need to get that to you to make sure you have that comparable language. But we've noticed that in a lot of other contracts, this is a practice. So we're seeing a lot of other districts, they're allowing the association to make brief announcements during faculty meetings, or at the end of faculty meetings, or at the beginning of faculty meetings. And so we want to make sure that that's captured here as a practice as well. And then clarifying the student release portion. We mentioned this before when we had a conversation about when the bug man shows up, or if there's no students on campus that day, it's a teacher work day, whatever the case may be, as long as there is principal permission, that folks have the opportunity to have conversations and meet. And then the communication system, again, falls in line with the notifications and emails. And then the monthly language is added because in conversations we've had with the superintendent, she has suggested that the ideal conversations would be monthly with the association and with school leaders. And I do have that language. We have Osceola, Sumter, Polk, Okaloosa, Leon, Escambia, Orange, Marion. All of those have language about faculty meetings and the association having the ability to have conversations, brief announcements at faculty meetings. So we'll get that to you as well. And I believe that is all with Article 14. Did I miss anything? I'm sorry, Article 4. And we'll get you, digital copies of this with the corrections. Okay, so the next article then, if there's no further questions, will be Article 12.
Again. Main issue is not. Oh, the next.
Yeah, I should have been. All right, has it gotten around?
Yes.
Okay, so at the very top, the salary should be underlined in green. So it should say salary placement schedule, we agree to that language, we also.
Green.
Underline. Huh. It wasn't on this.
By the way, I wanna notate that I know we're going back and forth with contract language, and we had agreed to change the numerical. Roman numeral
Yes.
to numbers, we will do that at the end.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so-
Absolutely, yes. I did also forget to mention that, so our rainbow of colors now. We've added a yellow highlight for questions. There was a couple pieces here we wanted to be able to accept and agree to. But we were confused, so I wanted to get some clarification, so you'll see that. We don't know what happened if the such crossed out, because it looked like on your proposal it was not green. But we have no problem with it being crossed out, so I really
It
think
should,
it should be
it
green,
should be green.
okay. And we agreed to all that language in section 1. For section 2, placement, credit, we just had some grammar pieces, so you'll see was is crossed out, we got it were. And then does is crossed out and said it should be do. On page 2, all that language has been agreed upon. The next would be page 3, section 5. So we agree upon this language. We did have a question though, why was the board policy added there when the state statute was already there?
Not, and this was language prior to me, so I did not, I don't think. I added that. Which section? We're talking about
Section 5 from Milton? Yeah, it was blue. So, but it wasn't bold and underlined,
No, it was there before.
so that was just an error.
You, I believe, on my notes, I have it blue because you had dropped that, I believe, and I.
Okay, so you wanted it back,
I left it in place, correct?
okay, and is the reason? Cause you wanna make sure that the board policy.
Matches it, board policy is there. 3420 talks about terminal pay.
Okay, so if the board policy changes, we'll
We
have
have
to
to-
reopen.
We have to reopen that, yes. We will have to. I'll double check it. I'm gonna make a note of it.
And then I think there was like an A and, where is that? Not another, oh, it's at the bottom where it says terminal pay for an educator.
Here.
At the very bottom of terminal pay, that last paragraph,
For
the
And-
terminal pay for an,
instructional employee,
Yeah.
okay.
so we corrected the article there. Section 6. we agree to this language. With, the exception of the very bottom, so we wanted to know why,
Section what?
why you struck through. School calendar, when you mentioned it was a district school calendar committee, and the second paragraph there it says. The 196-day calendar will be determined during the annual district school calendar. We were just curious, I mean, we'll agree to that language, but you had said
Hold on, let me go back to my notes.
that it was called a school calendar, but then you cross out the word school.
It should be student calendar, not school.
Okay, so
That's
the
why,
annual.
I have to go
student-
back on my notes and figure out, I believe the language had school because it was referring to the student calendar. Because all calendars are based off the student calendar. The committee establishes the student calendar
Okay.
first, and then we go from there and build the other.
So do we wanna agree to keep just school crossed out, leave it annual district calendar, or do we wanna add the word student?
Let me,
You wanna find out what the name of
yeah,
the committee is?
right, yeah,
Okay.
let me.
Yeah.
Believe it's the calendar committee, not even
Okay.
school, so. That's what I'm remembering, but I have to go, let me just double check to make sure we
Okay.
use the right language. Check on
We would agree to use that,
calendar committee,
yes. What the actual name is.
make a note of that so that I can go ahead.
And then we also had a question which we added back about the early release days. Why were the early release days crossed out? Was it eliminated because we're changing those release days in some way, or?
Not sure.
They don't, the committee doesn't determine every release dates because those change depending on scheduling. Of finals, midterms, they can change from year to year. So we don't have all the early release days. I don't recall discussing that during calendar committee.
I don't think there's.
They're not, it's not something that is discussed during calendar committee.
So is that something that's discussed at the work site, or?
And it all, early,
There's contract language already that dictates the last 3 of each semester are.
correct,
release. Another section of the contract that dictates.
So we can refer and look at that other.
yeah, we can go back and look at it, that's the only reason we haven't, we don't discuss early release days during calendar committee. Or school calendar.
Okay, if that's the case, then we would be. Willing to agree to starting them,
I'll double check it,
okay,
so. That was my first calendar committee,
okay.
so I have to check past.
Okay, and then the last part there is we left the calendar days because we felt like it actually made more sense here. But we agreed to striking the 6th that we had originally proposed an additional day. So it should read the 196 calendar will contain 5 paid holidays.
Okay. I understand what you're saying.
Section 7. We've added that the positions which fall into this category for the additional days of work will be notified in writing. In terms of their contract prior to the transfer period instead of July 1, so that's crossed out. And then we've added the allocation committee will meet to review the additional contract days for each instructional position annually. The association may appoint up to 5 representatives to the allocation committee. The number of additional contract days for each instructional category will be set by an independent.
How
So we
many,
had spoke about this,
how many do you have right now, committee? I know you were there.
I think there's 2.
You only have 2.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're trying to make this fall in line with all the other committees. And then we had spoke about this at the last bargaining session, and it was mentioned that this was determined in the allocation committee, so we added that language. A lot of our folks were bringing up that they never really had clear communication about these additional days work, so that's why we're adding in writing. So we are open to having some conversations about that language, but we would like to have some movement there. Alright, so at page 5. You'll see at the top there, we crossed out less and added the word minus, I think, I'm double checking. It was a grammatical piece. On page 5.
Okay.
Above section 9.
The total gross salary minus the election, okay.
Okay, section 11, the prescription benefit manager PPM, that should be green. So we agreed to that.
Where?
The cross through section 11.
Got it.
And then in A, we've added, you'll notice that a lot of the things that we've added and changed here, we're trying to get to a compromise and add some clarification. So you'll see the addition here on A, it says the details of the district health plan will be communicated to employees during open enrollment and available year-round on the district website.
I believe I also have that language and all the
I
other.
think it's similar.
Yes, similar, it's
Yeah.
gonna be, yeah, I understand.
So we just wanna make it clearer for employees to know where they can find the language, because if we're crossing out the plans, we want it clear to employees where they can find the plan.
It
Since
makes,
it's not gonna be located in a contract, and we would agree to that language, we highlighted in yellow this next section, because we were confused.
all right, so. I'm going by my notes of remembering what I discussed with Mr. Ollier. Part of what the joint insurance advisory committee has been trying to accomplish is getting better health rates. Because insurance keeps astronomically increasing in every district. And ours is, like I said, it went almost $1,000, no, from 10,500 to 11,500 and change from one year to the other. Our contract mentions specifically Florida Blue options, which basically they have us. And they will not change pricing because they know that their name is in the contract. So part of the reason of removing the actual company of the contract is to allow us to be able to shop and get better health plan choices for the committee to decide on for the district. We're not intending to take the 95% off. We still will offer that to employees or a zero premium plan, but it's the portion of taking the name off the contract. That
Okay.
doesn't mean we take out that name, that doesn't mean that Blue Cross is gonna go. It's still part of one of the plans we offer.
Right.
It's just they're no longer the sole contract that can be a provider
Right.
for Lake County schools. That was the only intent of the language. It allows us to be able to shop for better health.
Okay, so I think that piece is clear, and I appreciate you clarifying that. The piece that we're still kind of struggling with is this part about the board will pay an amount equal to 95% of a zero premium base plan.
That was,
Where the problem is all of our plans are $0 premium base.
that language was. That I will have to come back on that because I don't have the note specifically to that portion because this language change here was recommendations from risk management.
Okay,
You know,
and we
it-
did ask Rob Boyer, and he said currently the Florida Blue 5771 plan is considered base plan.
Correct, that is the
So,
base plan,
I
yes.
don't know how we word this better with the removal of those plans to understand what the intent.
Correct, so then let me come back on something to Connor for
Okay.
that, to make, because this is what he recommended, and it might be that he didn't.
Okay.
Word it correctly,
My
so,
question is, like, well, one question is, yeah, where's the other 5% come from? I don't know. How you make 95% of a zero and.
it didn't, again, I
I just
I
don't.
should've-
know
I apologize, I should have picked up on that.
So is it supposed to be 100% of a zero?
Yeah.
That's what,
Correct.
100%, okay.
Yeah, after I looked at it, as you were talking.
Okay, cause yeah, I looked at it so many times, everyone's like, no, it should be 95, I'm like, but,
Over
then where's the other?
No,
five?
it's, I don't know why he added that.
Okay,
I do not know why he added that there, so I will have to again discuss it with.
the other question just would be like, how is the base employee plan therefore determined? Cause right now, if you have HPI and Blue Cross Blue Shield, and they're both zero premium. Then Rob is saying right now, Mr. Orr is saying right now that it's 5771. But. How,
And he didn't know how it was determined because.
how is that?
Learn.
Okay, so then.
Because I asked, he said he didn't know the history.
I'm writing that down right now, just give me a second.
And we would, be willing to agree to some language there, same with the base amount will be paid,
And
we
then,
just want some clarity.
yeah, I completely understand that. The main portion of that sentence, the most important piece, the other one will work on the language, is the willingness of being able to take off the handcuffs, because right now, they don't.
They see that you're a guaranteed customer.
Yeah, you're a guaranteed customer to them, and we need to take that away from them. And not because we don't want them gone, we want them to negotiate better. Better pricing.
Alright, so on page 6B, you'll see we've agreed to this language with, full exception, so we've changed from 90 days to 30 calendar days, because we believe employees deserve some advance notice to plan and prepare, but we accept the other changes. And then we did have a question about the last bullet there under C, the steps employees need to take to ensure continuous coverage. We just wanted to know why that was crossed out. Was it crossed out because it's included in the other bullets, or?
I don't, he recommended that that's already part of the other information. I don't have any.
So it would be included in the other,
Correct, everything, when we do open enrollment, when we provide employee information, we tell them exactly what they need to do to keep coverage, so we always provided that information, so I think it was crossed because it was redundant,
redundant? Okay,
so
that's fine.
I don't have a note for it, so.
So we would agree to that then. Okay, we agree to the rest of the language on page 6.
A lot of this we already do.
Right,
If you we read through it, we sometimes go above and beyond some of this.
so on page 7, we accept the language being removed as long as we can add some language about the PBMs being discussed during the joint insurance committee. So you'll see that new language there, that the PBM details will be discussed during the joint insurance advisory committee meetings with the title PBM, prescription benefit manager. And then we agree to the language in D. In E, we've added language for +2 alternatives. So we agree to the language that was adjusted here with the up to 5. But we believe having alternatives is important because things happen, people have sick kids, they can have an accident, whatever the case may be, they change jobs.
Yeah, the reasoning for the up to 5 is because sometimes people don't show up and all that, so you can have up to 5 people, you might have all 7 if your alternates show up.
But they wouldn't vote.
They wouldn't vote, so you
Right.
would only want 5 people.
Right.
That's fine.
And then we crossed out the word review and added develop, because we really believe that this is a joint insurance committee, that there should be collaboration in the development of those SOPs, not just that is presented to the committee after the fact. So that's why we've added the word develop. And then we added the release time section where it says including travel and class coverage if applicable. Typically, these meetings don't occur during contract hours, they're typically after contract hours anyways, but if we have employees that have to attend these meetings, we're not sure why, travel or class coverage wouldn't be included in that time for release. So that's why we've added that back. And then for the periodic reviews of employee satisfaction, we agreed to that language being struck because we believe we can work on surveys. And have conversations about periodic reviews of employee satisfaction through our committee. With one there, we've added the RFP language. Again, we agreed to that detailed language being struck, but we believe that we should at least have some language there to talk about RFPs being discussed in committee. We typically already do that anyways, so this codifies that. And then we also changed the language on page 8. Where we
Yeah, the
agreed,
reason, you remember the reason why we moved it though, correct?
which one?
RFCs. State board rule exempts from requiring RFPs for health. That's the only reason we removed it.
Say that again?
State board rule 681.012 exempts from requiring RFP. For that, for health. Typically, we do. Some districts like having RFPs, but they're not required.
So you're saying because of this.
Yeah, state board rule, they're
Okay.
exempt
So,
from requiring
but
RFP.
what we're saying here is not
And you
that they
wanna-
have to be,
Okay,
just that they will, if they are gonna be done, then they're discussing the joint advisory, which is what we do anyway. Okay, on page 8. We believe that it was good to have some ethical language here for public trust. We agreed to crossing out the struck language there, but felt that we should at least keep this section on ensuring ethical and strategic selection, and the language about the selected healthcare administrator will operate independently without any direct or indirect conflict of interest, and will prioritize the well-being of employees, the district, and the broader school. Which that would then leave the numbering as we presented. Then section 4. We've added back the language on the district staff shall ensure timely and complete sharing of relevant data for any planned vendor changes. But we've crossed off the 120 that was originally there and added at least 60 calendar days notice. And then you'll see at the very bottom, we crossed off the process within 90 days and added 30 days of the first part of PPD. Right, if there is an R. Then section 5, we've added back, but crossed out and agreed to cross out the third party language there. We instead added the other relender or focused on the other related vendor contract language, which was agreed upon previously in that section. So it should say advanced access to other related vendor contracts. And then it should read, the district shall provide the joint insurance advisory committee with access to any proposed contracts, renewals, or amendments with other related benefit vendors, including insurance carriers, third-party administrators, and wellness program providers, no fewer than 14 calendar days before any scheduled committee meeting where such vendor or proposal will be discussed. And then we agreed to that other language being struck. And then section F. We were really confused at what this language meant. We read through it multiple times. So maybe that's another conversation with Robert Order. The language about such participation shall be deemed to occur within the course and scope of their employment as defined under Florida statute 440.02, provided that the activity is authorized and the work performed is a major contributing cause of an injury or incident for the purpose of workers' compensation coverage.
I believe is in case of an employee that gets hurt and they were not authorized to be on the premises to work. So. And that language, if you pull that statute, that's just taken from that statute.
So this is direct from the statute.
Yep. Aligning language to statute, that's the notes that I have for that section. I was aligning. the-
Worded, really.
Easier to understand,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that we're just aligning the language to statute. It was related to an incident in which some employees get hurt doing a task that they were not there. It was not part of the course or scope of their work. But they decided to go somewhere else or something to that effect. There have been scenarios where employees get hurt when they're not supposed, they would have not gotten hurt, they would have stayed where they were supposed to be for the job that they were doing. at
Don't
the
come
time.
on Saturday and stand on a chair, chair.
Correct.
Okay,
But I can give you examples of that. That was the purpose of that language alignment.
I think just for us,
Yeah.
for clarity, it
That's
would be
fine.
helpful, and then I think there's an article, if it says purposes of and for. So it's either of or for, not both.
Yes. Get clarity on.
Okay, section 13, or I'm sorry, section 12, we agreed to that language, I'm not sure why it's not bold and underlined. So it was already in the contract, so why is
Yes.
this blue? But we agreed to add it back. Okay,
Yeah, I put it blue because you had crossed it. So I
okay,
left-
so we agreed to add it back. Section 13, we agree to that language. Section 14, we agreed to crossing out the will be awarded. But we have crossed out the section that you've added back, that should say, may only be awarded if the advanced degree is held in the individual areas of certification. So we agree on some of that language changes with that language added back, and that will tie into our appendix B portion that we're gonna bring forward momentarily. I think that's all for Article 12. So we pass it out. Was there any questions on 12? So this is the last piece that we have for y'all today. And it is related to that section 14 in Article 12 about the master's degree, specialty degree, or doctorate degree. We've also added some language here to clarify the placement schedule here versus continuing employees. So I'm gonna start on the instructional salary side. So for the changes, we've added at the top in parentheses for new hires under the instructional salary placement schedule, and then cross out the date and put the current date. We did not modify or change any of the placement schedule there, but we did add language below that said current employee compensation is in the performance pay appendix B section. So the intent of this language is to really clarify, I know you and your department has dealt with this a lot, we have dealt with this ongoing. Where folks still believe that when they see this placement schedule, that that's what their current salary is, if they've been in the district 20 years, they think that they're making the same. As what's listed here, which is not necessarily the case.
It's correct.
So we really want to make it clear because people often go to the contract as a source of information and guidance. So if we can add something that helps clarify, we think that that's valuable. So that's why we've added that language there. And then we've also added that advanced degree differentials for all new and current instructional employees. The way it was listed before, it almost made it seem like this was just for current, like new employees to the district, because the advanced degree portion was right below the placement. So current employees, again, may not believe that's accurate for them, so we want to make it clear that the advanced degree piece there is for all new and current instructional employees. Then we cross out the Florida statute there, because our understanding is the Florida statute has changed, and there's not this requirement that it has to be in their area of certification to qualify. So we've added language at the bottom that says employees with an advanced degree not held in an area of certification will qualify for the following differential. So you'll see master's degree 1,500, or specialist 1975, or doctorate 2,500. So the intent of this language is to recognize and show value for the 200 something instructional employees that we currently have a master's degree, not in an area of certification. Such as those that have degrees in ed leadership or literacy or curriculum, but there's no such certification for those areas. And we know many other districts recognize those, including ones that touch us. Or the same size as us, so it communicates the value of our folks that have those degrees.
Okay.
And then the back is the psychologist, so you'll see the same language. I did reach out to some of our psychologist members to try to get some clarification. I have not heard back yet, but you may know, Guido, if there are folks that are psychologists that have a degree outside of their certification.
I have all that data.
Okay, so you could identify if this language is appropriate.
When I
here.
believe when I give you the cost of what it would be just to do it without this added language, I have everybody instructional unit, what degree they have. And as long as they brought us their transcripts,
Okay, so it is possible we could have some psychologists.
we can possibly have some psychologists out there, just like we can possibly have people that have advanced degrees that they have not given us their
Okay.
transcripts.
So that same language is there as on the previous page. The advanced degree piece, we basically just moved it, so you'll see that language is the same from what was there. We've just made it to match the language on the other page. So the statute is crossed out there and it just says the advanced degree will be held in an area of certification to qualify for the current differentials. And then added the employees with an advanced degree not held in an area of certification will qualify for the following differential with a specialist of 1975 or a doctorate 2500. And we believe based off the numbers that were estimated to us that this would be under $500,000 cost, but I'm sure you
I will have to,
can do that.
I know it was 800.
I think you guys remember like anywhere from 800 to.
I have that amount, it's article,
But it's definitely gonna be less than 500.
it was 846,000 at the time for 220 teachers. I will have to do the math with these numbers to see what it would be. I'm also working on other possible options. So I haven't let go of this, it's just, it's a cost, that's the issue, it's not that the board has expressed that they want me to find a way that we can do something for the people that have a master's, specifically those people that have a master's in curriculum.
Right.
Doesn't align to a certificate area, but it's a master in education. I have some that are master's education, master's in curriculum, masters in
In reading,
reading, masters in technology, which they deal with. So there are several masters, advanced degrees that are quote unquote in an area of certification. But I also have masters or specialists or doctorals that are not, you know.
Even some that do, are receiving pay.
No, there's some that are receiving pay because they were hired prior to July 1st, 2011.
Even before that, because, what some people have told me is that when they get a degree, they call and find out. The transcription office, oh, you have to take this certification, or you have to get this certification, or you have to take this class, you have to take this class, and this class. And they received a degree from ready to be questioned, so it's just they get the degree, then they find out they have to do more.
But that's the state, that's the law.
State
That's a state requirement to align it to a certificate. That's different. That's not. Like I said, we're trying to.
Right.
I know the intent. I know what we want us to do.
okay. Any other questions on that?
No.
So budget enrollment update, you have anything for that?
Wait. I'm kind of hesitant of saying what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say.
Okay.
It's like clear's time. I pulled on September 23rd, I pulled the membership status. And compared it to the membership status of last year as of 9/23. And it shows that we are about 876 less students. They are still doing scheduling changes in high school and middle and elementary. I don't know how much of that will change to the plus or minus. And last I spoke with IT, there are some things that are gonna change the numbers to the plus side because of the way the numbers are counted, the count in membership, so that's what I have. I don't know what the change will become on FTE. Now, I will say this, FTE, one FTE does not equal one student. FTE is different per student. And so you have an elementary school kid that generates about 1.1 something FTE, and you have a high school that generates about 0.9 FTE. The weights are different. Weighted FTE is different from what it is. So right now, that's what I have as far as membership count from 923 to 923. Just to give you an idea where we are.
On those weights, for high school, is it affected by whether or not they have a full schedule?
If they have a what?
Full schedule, like.
Correct,
They're
yes,
for,
yes.
so it's based, so if a student has.
They wait, COE gets the schedule, they get all the data on that file. And they look at every student, their weighted FT, what classification they are, their scheduling, how much are they in school? You know, it's elementary typically gives you more than a high school. And yeah, so it's different. ESC, you know, you have your 254s, your 255 that provide a lot more FTE. But those are exceptionalities are higher than regular ESC. So it's, that's just the membership count. So I'm just telling you, there's errors in that count. How much of it, I don't know until we get to FTE.
Around 876 over a year ago.
Yeah, if I compare 923 last year to 923 this year, that's what I'm getting.
So how does that compare with how do your current numbers compare with your projections on which your budget was based?
Projections, I believe they pegged us at 1,200 or 1,300 less. So we are a bit better.
Positive.
So you're above what was projected.
Yeah, correct. When we were projected to be 1,200 to 1,300 less kids.
Okay.
We are actually at. Again, that's that's DOE's projection. This is me just looking at focus and going and doing a membership count as of right now. And that number every day changes. I've looked at it a couple of days and it's still, it goes down and then it goes up, it goes down, it's fluctuating. They are still fixing. High school is my biggest not concerned because I didn't see that many FP down in high school. It's mainly elementary and then where I see a lot of shifting.
Was
And
there,
that number is only public schools. I took the charters out, I took everybody out, because I wanted to know where we are on public schools. Our public schools.
what about the number of duplicated students with the?
Again,
homeschool
that's what they have to clean after we submit the file. I don't know how many of those are in that number. I haven't gone to that level of detail.
I know last time we spoke, Scott had mentioned
Correct.
close to 400.
Correct. Their districts are working hard on that.
Okay,
I know there are upcoming meetings when it comes to that, so that's all I know. I know that the DOE is trying to resolve the issue.
any other questions about budget? So we know for us, we're working on Article 8, 9, and 17 to bring back.
Okay.
Y'all obviously have 10, 11, and 18, I believe.
I have 18. I
Okay.
could have brought it today. I just didn't. When I saw your agenda, so it said it's gonna take more than.
Yes,
Like
yeah.
I did not want to bring something else, but I have 18 that for
Okay,
sure by next time I'll bring 18.
perfect.
But I have that one already.
And our goal will be to try to bring most of what we mentioned, 8, 9, or 17. And then, the only thing outlined that we haven't talked about is Appendix C, the athletic differential, and Appendix D, the differential. And there's just a few pieces of language there. Not really anything extensive on those two. And that's all I have for that. We have no tentative agreements at this point.
I have one piece that I've meant to ask.
Yeah.
Remember when we signed the last few MOUs?
Yes,
There was one MOU that I forgot to mention
okay,
that currently is happening, but it's something that typically has been signed. It's just the one covering a teacher working their period,
Okay.
middle and high. Because they haven't been able to find a teacher, so they have asked teachers to cover a period. So we pay those teachers during the one extra period to teach that course. It's happening mainly in high school and middle school.
Okay.
So I'm gonna give you that MOU. There's no changes. It's the same MOU from last year.
Okay. And then what about the mentoring MOU? Where we
I'm
have-
still working on it.
Okay.
I don't have it. That one, I'm hoping to have that an answer for you by the next time.
Okay,
And the other piece of news, as of today, at 4 p.m., no, this afternoon at some point, an email was sent to phase one, 950 employees. Not instructional, 950 district-wide employees that are captured as phase one for fingerprints. That email has information basically with instructions to put in a code, go register, and whenever you have time, you got 3 months to go fingerprint at a local facility. We are paying the $82 cost. So we are paying for that. Please follow the instructions carefully. And Elizabeth, I believe you're in phase one. You can see a copy of that. If you wanna see the email, lead by example.
So, email, is that to work email?
Yes, every employee's email address, every work employee email address. We will send reminders to those in phase one. We're breaking it in how many phases?
7.
7 phases. Every 3 months, we'll take a new phase.
Okay.
Okay, so, and the important thing is, we are not passing that cost to employees. District is covering that cost. And there is no drug testing.
Thank
So
you
let
for
me
clarifying that.
make it clear. We are not drug testing any employee. We are only following the reprint requirement from DOE by statute, and it requires a picture now as part of your fingerprints.
So, we know, this was required by the state
Mhm.
and the district is eating the cost. Is there any move from the district?
They're not providing any.
Six around to petition the state to reimburse?
We've asked, they're not, the statute reads the district or the employee must afford the cost of it. So if you look at that statute, it's interesting. In this case, you're a current employees, you've been a current employees for X amount of time, we are absorbing the cost. Which is an additional cost. If I do the 82 times almost 5,500 employees, you can do the math, that it quickly becomes about more than $500,000.
What's that?
Plus subs, plus everybody else.
Okay, next part, new dates.
And we have August and October. Okay.
Yes, and 22nd. Would either of those work for your schedule?
Give me 1 second, let me look at those. Instead of the 22nd, I'd rather do the 29th.
You said the 29th? Yes. We can't do the 29th.
The 15th, I'm booked with the other unit, with the other bargaining unit, so that's why I don't say the 15th.
This is the intro.
Yeah.
We can't do the 15th. Can you do the 8th?
Yes, I can do the 8th.
But yeah, but it doesn't.
What about the 22nd? Is there a way we could do that at all?
Let me get back to you on that one.
Okay.
What other day do you have after, is there any other days?
Yes. November.
Does it have to be a Wednesday? Can it be any?
No, we're just looking at when we're available. November 5th.
I'm available November 5th.
You are?
Yes, I don't see anything like that.
Man, we get October 29th.
And then November 12th.
It looked great also.
I'm available November 12th.
Okay. So we'll at least put those down to do.
So you want me to put October 8th
Yeah.
and then November?
Then September and fall.
Okay, I'll let you know on the 22nd.
And is there any way, we know that you might be able to stick around for 15 minutes or so, let us caucus one last time on the MOU?
Yes, and if that's what we're discussing, and would it be okay? Is that something that we can do outside bargaining? Do you want me to caucus? And
Yeah.
I can caucus for 20 minutes, because I'm gonna make a phone call. I'm gonna make it,
Yeah, we're okay with that.
to caucus for now, or just to end the
And
meeting.
then we can.
We can-
Sign if we're ready for that, if not, then. We'll let
So
you-
that means you can possibly sign today, or,
Possibly depending upon our caucus.
okay, so then, let me just caucus for now, because I'm gonna get called to see if I can give you some answers.
Okay.
I'm gonna call again, okay?
Okay.
So let me just caucus for a minute, just give me 15 minutes, okay?
And then just one question for you, I guess, on the call. Val had pulled up the reporting sheet for the TSIA, like it's very specific where it says like exclude charter school, exclude the charter school, exclude the charter school. But like the reporting sheet doesn't say exclude the FES portion, so
Okay.
why are they so specific on the reporting form? Where exclude the charter school amount, but not explicit with.
Like I said, let me caucus, let me make a couple of calls again and see if I can get Mr. William on the phone, okay? It is 6:35, I'm caucusing for about 20 minutes. Okay, it is 7:09, we're returning from caucus and bargaining again.
All right, so, we had some great conversation. We have come to a consensus on 4 things.
Okay.
Okay. First, we want to remove the table. To just make it clear that we are saying that the TSIA adjusted proportion is the portion that we're dedicating to salaries for instructional personnel. And not have the specific details spoken out there yet, because there's gonna be ongoing negotiations. Second, the language about the family empowerment scholarship and the charter school allocation and all of that, can we make it say, per state statute? Instead of explicitly stating those items. Help me out with the other.
She's got it. Who has it? The minimum.
Reference,
The third one,
reference to the total amount.
Yeah, that'd be a minimum based on FEFP calculations.
Can you give him all the sentence? I thought you wrote.
I didn't. You got it.
Oh. Okay, where's your sentence?
oh, I'm not remembering. Is this the sticky note? No, that's not.
I just wrote the word. Okay, so. Total, I can't read your writing. So we're saying, this is on that, bullet point there. As, so it says, salary increases for the 25-26 school year.
As agreed to,
As agreed to at a future
date.
date. But that's not it. It's where the amount is.
It's
right there above it.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. So we want that to just say that that's the minimum calculation there.
I. In looking at it, if I'm putting that amount, that would be the minimum because it's the stated amount, I wouldn't change it.
Right.
There, like the
We
word
put that
minimum,
there.
We would just like that.
it would be
clear.
that amount. And again, this performance pay table is just breaking the TSIA the same way we've broken every other TSIA in the past years. That's the only reason that table is there. So.
The reason we want minimum is because it talks about how it can be adjusted, so we wanna make sure that that amount can't go down.
That's,
What's the fourth point?
yes.
And the fourth point is we would like till tomorrow assignments. Even if it's new, I mean, we need more than 2-3 hours.
That's, and you can take that time, but I'm gonna tell you right now, we're not removing less the Family Empowerment Act. I'm not removing less charter school. There's no reason to put the at minimum because that's a stated amount that we're putting in the MOU. So technically it will be that amount for now. And again, I will reiterate, this is just a plan. This is not the counter to your performance pay package. This is just a plan of what we're doing with the TSIA dollars. The third bullet states that we're still gonna be bargaining. And then we also added $2.9 million to pay for health increase costs. So it's not the final say, it's just a plan so that we can meet a requirement by Florida DOE. So if you don't agree with it, I respect that the way it is. That's fine. And if you wanna discuss it more and call me tomorrow, we can discuss it more. But at this time, the language is the language.
Okay, if that's the case, then we're not prepared to sign.
Okay, then I understand.
All right, well, we appreciate your time.
Okay. The other MOU, the additional period,
Yes, I'll take care of that now.
is that one okay?
Yes. You have 2 copies?
Yes, I have.
Yes, they have the other.
They have the other copy. Yeah, I'm gonna sign this one. They can keep that, so I'll keep that.
Okay.
Then, any other questions? This is yours. India.
That's what you, if you happen to get any further clarification about pulling out the, FES from the TSIA, could you forward that to us? Because, everything that I'm looking at in the FAQs and then how the districts are reporting their plans, doesn't suggest in any way.
I understand. I'll go ahead and speak further. I'll meet with Mr. Ward and ask him to, and pull some language. I have some language that I can forward to you now, based on statute. But everything that he's told me, if he has they take everything from the top, including scholarship, they take their portion. So, FES is no different. So, but again, I'll talk to him to forward, with more language regarding that. Okay?
Thank you. Can you send what you have right now, please?
And I can, give me 1 second. I just sent it.
Um,
Do you,
just, okay,
do
thank
you
you.
have it?
Something I just wanted to clarify that you can share with the board or the superintendent. I think one of the biggest things that our caucus is concerned about is the delay in getting this information and then rushing us to decide in 2 hours. I think our team would be more willing to accept this if we had had more time to review it. So I'm sharing that to communicate to the board. We are appreciative of the board recognizing our worth and saying that this money needs to be dedicated to instructional employees for their salaries. But the problem is the time of it.
I understand, but the board wanted me to make it clear that this is just to submit a plan to make it meet a state requirement. It was not their intent for it to be the final counter for performance pay. It's just we're following what TSI dollars are meant to be used,
And
for,
we appreciate that,
which is
but
salary increases.
typically that plan would be brought to us like in July, and, you know, we have been asking about this.
I understand.
But thank you, appreciate y'all's time.
So does this conclude bargaining
Yes,
this evening?
thank you.
Okay, it is 7:16 PM. This concludes bargaining for September 30th between Lake County Schools and LCEA.
And we're gonna stick around and do our press release, so thank y'all for being patient here, you're welcome to stay, if not, go home, spend time with your family.